Okay, let's start off today by playing a little bit of a game. I'm going to play about 30 seconds of music for you that has all been made using just one instance of one stock Ableton Live instrument, and I want you to guess which one it is. Ready? Here we go. All right, do you have your guess? You might have thought drum rack or sampler. Those are probably the two most obvious examples, but you're only right if you guessed impulse. So Impulse is an 8-pad drum rack that shares with Simpler the distinction of being the first and the oldest virtual instrument in Ableton Live. Both were new features added to Ableton Live version 4 all the way back in 2004, 20 years ago. And whereas Simpler has been perennially popular, Impulse has kind of fallen largely to the wayside. First, I'm going to show you the exact features on Impulse that I think make it still a compelling and exciting instrument in 2024. And then I'm going to break down for you the example that you just heard a minute ago. So let's go ahead and dive right in. One of the main reasons why Impulse is still an exciting instrument for me in 2024 is that it has time stretching capabilities that do not appear on any other device in Live. It features two time stretching algorithms, Mode A and Mode B. Mode A is designed for lower pitch sounds and Mode B is designed for higher pitch sounds. But because these algorithms don't appear on any other device, you can get results with Impulse that is impossible to get with any other instrument. And therefore, it's notable on that feature alone. Now, you have a lot of broad latitude with how you conduct time stretching with Impulse. Each pad has its own stretch control. There's also a global time parameter that will conduct time stretching as well as manipulate all other values and envelopes on the device. Now, the time stretching is also separate from the transposition. So you can transpose independently of the time stretching as well, and that is also true of the global parameters. So let's play around with this short little drum loop that I've got here so that you can hear what I'm talking about. So we can hear when we start to max out the stretch on the snare, we start to hear a pretty classic glitchy sound. That sound is going to change as I switch algorithms. And if I apply the macro controls, we will hear it on the entire device. Now, the other feature that I find really exciting about Impulse is its ability to tie nearly any of its modulation parameters for a given pad to velocity or to be just randomized. And where that is most compelling for me is when I start to add non-pitched sounds to Impulse. Let me play this short loop for you. So on each of these pads, I'm going to go ahead and engage the filter, and I'm going to crank up this random control on the filter position. So now each of those vocal chops will have the filter with a pretty high resonance at a randomized position every time it plays. Now, to double down on that, I'm also going to randomize the pan position and make sure that the decay is maxed out for each, so they're nice and long. So now that you've got an overview of Impulse, let's talk about how you can take this one step further and do even more with this device. Okay, first off, let me play this 30-second example for you again that you heard at the beginning so that you can have it fresh in your mind once more. So in addition to all the features already discussed, there are two additional things that I am doing here to make this track really exciting and compelling sounding. First, I am using a rack where I can sum up a number of the pad controls into macros. So as you can see, for those vocal samples, I have 3 of their parameters: the stretch, the decay, and the filter, alongside the resonance, so 4 parameters actually, all mapped to macros on the parent rack. And I have similar controls for the drums mapped here. So that allows me to make broad changes, but still not instrument-wide changes pretty quickly. The other thing that I am doing is I am routing the output of each pad on Impulse to its own audio track. And this is one of the things that a lot of people complain about when it comes to Impulse, because Drum Rack has the ability to nest audio effects into the cell that your simpler or drum sampler is contained within. And you can't really do that with Impulse. However, you can route the output of an Impulse cell to its own audio channel and therefore then process it however you like, which is exactly what I'm doing here. And all you have to do is just select your Impulse from your instruments, and then from there select the cell that you want to manipulate. And you can then process however you would like. And in this case, I have 3 macro groups. I have my drums, I've got my 808, which is my sub, standing all on its own, and then I have the Vox. Now, for the vocal samples, I am running them into OTT and just doing a gentle dip with a reverb to eliminate some of the harsher high-end boost that comes with using OTT. So I'll solo that so you can hear that on its own. For my 808, I am running my bass brutalizer rack, which if you missed this video from a couple of weeks back, I show you how to make that, and you can also download it for free from my website as well. That's just adding some nice stereo width and adding a couple of extra bits of polish to that 808 sound. And then finally for the drums, I'm just running an instance of Drum Bus on the group. The complexity that you're hearing in the drums comes first from how the drums are being processed via those macros on the device here. And then just additionally from how the pattern is programmed. I've got a very IDM kind of pattern with a lot of stutters and ghost notes. And then taken all together. So as you can see, Impulse is an incredibly capable instrument that is still phenomenally exciting in 2024. So hopefully you learned something new in this video, and hopefully you're feeling inspired to take Impulse for a spin. No matter what version of Live you have, Impulse happens to be one of the devices that comes with every single version of Live. So you can do some cool things with it, and I hope you share it with me. I'd actually love to hear what you make with it. So as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm working to grow this channel, and your support is exactly how I do that. Till next time.